Hey, my name is Cerise Fairfax. Welcome to my channel. I'm sitting here right now in the Dominican Republic on the North Coast. Today we're going to talk about a few things that you need to know when you move or visit Sosua and Cabarete. I live in Sosua and I've been living in Sosua for 6 years. I help people to relocate. I help them find apartments. I help them find real estate. And sometimes I just give them some consultations on the best ways to come here. I wrote a book, which I will be talking about more at the end of this video. But first, I want to get into the topics today. We're going to talk about 5 topics. 5 important topics that I feel you should know while you're living here or visiting here in the Dominican Republic. Now, let's start with number 1, but it's not the number 1 thing. It's just number 1 on my list because it's something that I experienced the other day and I wanted to share it with you guys. So Sosua itself and some parts of Cabarete can be noisy. By noisy, I don't mean just party central. Sometimes on streets where it's not even a party central, you will still hear noise throughout the night because cars will pass by with loudspeakers. And not only that, sometimes motorcycles. So the other day, I rented a place out to a person that had no idea how noisy Sosua could be. Now, of course, I live in a local neighborhood called Los Charamicos. Los Charamicos is the local neighborhood by the beach, very friendly area. A guy came all the way from Santo Domingo where he was staying, and he is an American. And he told me that he just wants to come to the North Coast right here because he's been seeing my videos and he feels really good about being here. Well, I told him I didn't have anything available. The one that I did have available was on a street. There's some noise and, there's not a lot of partying, but the price was right. It was $350 a month. Can you believe that? And he came and he took the bus here. Now, I told him that I have somebody else that's interested in it. And he said, please hold it for me. I need to get out of Santo Domingo. I want to get to Sosua. And I thought that was amazing. So I said, gracias, amor. Bien. I want to show you guys what I have right here. I'm in Cabarete at a place called Mojitos. Happy birthday to my moto concho. And this is called a frojito. I have to drink it down right now. Because it melts quickly. And when it melts, it starts to overflow. So this guy came all the way down to Sosua. And when he got here, I did everything to make him feel comfortable. I introduced him to his landlord, introduced him to my moto concho. I also invited him out that night to a birthday party that a lot of us expats were going to. I helped him order food. Wings he wanted, and I told him if he needed anything else, just let me know. Well, he messaged me about an hour later while I was out at the party, and he told me that it's a little noisy. Now, this was during the day, and I told him, yes, it gets noisy here with the motos. You're on a main street, and you just have to, bear with it, but you're not going to hear a lot of parties late at night. Turn your air conditioner on, turn your fan on, turn the TV on, and you'll get accustomed to the noise. Well, then he left me another message and he's like, or I'll just sleep in your bedroom tonight. I was like, well, that's not going to happen. So I just said, ha, ha, ha. Didn't really respond to it because, I'm pretty sure he knows I'm not going to say, oh yeah, hubba, hubba. I'll be home at 8. Don't be late, come on now. So anyway, when I got home that night, I was kaput. I wasn't working any longer for the night and I went to sleep. I woke up early in the morning like I usually do. And he messaged me and he said, I'm leaving. Call me a cab. And I was like, oh, Okay, so it was Sunday. A lot of cabbies are not going to like work at that time in the morning. So I sent him a bunch of numbers of drivers that I know are reliable. So he told me he wants his money back. And, and I said, dude, I gave your money to the landlord. He didn't pay a deposit. Usually you have to pay a deposit, which I'm going to get to in a second on one of the other important topics that I think you should know about. And I told him, I cannot just go to the landlord and say, give the money back. It's not a hotel. You don't pay by the night. He decided to leave because of the noise. Now, it's not really that noisy, but I think he's just very sensitive to noise, and a lot of people are, even just in the Dominican Republic in general. No matter where you are going to hear sometimes parties, and not all the time. Christmas time is a hot time for that, and eventually most people do get used to it. Now we're going to talk about potholes in the streets. You have to be very careful when you are riding a motorcycle, a bicycle, or even a car. Sometimes the potholes, the manholes, what we call them in Toronto, they are deep and they have cement coming like out the top of them. So they're not even to the road itself. And sometimes if you're on a motorcycle, it's late at night, you could, boom, go right into it and damage a tire or anything of that nature. So always make sure that you're watching the road when you're driving, whether it's day or night. Another thing that I've noticed in Sosua itself is, and also in Puerto Plata and some places in Cabarete, there, when you're going like on a road, on the next road, sometimes there's a gutter. And that gutter could be very, very deep. And what that means is you could go, if you are driving a lowrider, then for sure your fender is going to hit and it's going to crack. So you will notice that a lot of people in Sosua and also just in the Dominican Republic usually have SUVs and trucks. And so if you're going to be renting something, be very careful not to rent a Honda Accord unless it has higher tires. Any vehicle that is a low riding vehicle is not the most logical choice for you to ride around in the Dominican Republic, especially if it's not your vehicle and you're renting it, because you may have to incur those damages, the charges for those damages. Even if you have insurance, sometimes you may want to go off-road. You may want to go somewhere to like the river or something of that nature. And, you may get yourself stuck somewhere. So when you have an option, always opt for the vehicle that has higher tires. Paying your rent in the Dominican Republic. I help people find apartments here in the Dominican Republic, and I also help people find Airbnbs. Now, those Airbnbs are money that they can actually rent out and then sublease on Airbnb as a passive income. Because not everybody has money to buy a property. Not everybody even wants to buy a property without testing out the market first. My next topic will talk about the market itself. But for now, when you're paying your rent in the Dominican Republic, and if your rent is like, let's say $450, and you are quoted in dollars, that means the landlord is expecting you to pay dollars every single month. Now, it would work in your best interest to work along with your landlord and pay those dollars. A lot of people ask, why would a country that deals with pesos want dollars? Well, the dollar in the United States is quite strong and it usually stays very steady. So when you pay a landlord in dollars, they save those dollars for a rainy day. Now, it is possible to get around that if you're a person that just doesn't have access to your bank account, American bank account, or Canadian dollars, or any other dollars, like any other currency. Then you would have to pay the pesos in the equivalency of what the dollar is that day that you pay your rent. So let's say you have to pay your rent on the first of every month. And let's say that you're from Canada. Well, you're going to have to find out how many pesos it is that day with the currency exchange based upon the American dollar. And that could sometimes get tricky. So, my suggestion to you is to use an app to send yourself money and go get your money. Now, recently I've been using Remitly. I really like Remitly because it's easy to use. The money's ready in 10 minutes. You send it to Caribbean Express, and there is no hocus pocus. You're not going to be ripped off for high prices like you may get ripped off at other places. I'm not going to mention those other places and those other apps because I don't want to trash them. They did come in handy for me when I needed them. But one thing I do notice with Remitly, when I want to send money, it automatically is given out in pesos. So you have to look on the app, and if you're an American or a Canadian, you have to look to see send pesos, send dollars, and collect dollars. Very, very important. This is another important point when you're paying your rent. If you choose, let's say, Western Union, when you're sending yourself money, or your landlord money or your manager money, never send it in pesos. If you are in America, if you are in Canada, never send it in pesos. You will never get the right amount back. Always send your American dollars to the Dominican Republic as dollars. If that person needs pesos, then when they arrive to the counter of the Western Union, for instance, they will ask for change. They will ask for it to be converted into pesos. When it's converted into pesos, at that point, there are no charges that they will have to pay. If you send it in dollars and you say you want the person to pick up pesos, the amount that they pick up will not be the equivalent to the dollars that you sent. So when you're paying your rent, you have to be very clever and realize that, okay? So always remember, when you're paying your rent, you pay in dollars if it's quoted in dollars. If you are quoted in pesos, pay in pesos. Always remember that. Can you make money in the Dominican Republic on your Airbnb? So I have a couple of things to say about that. One, I always tell people that they can test out the area that they want by contacting me. If you want Sosua, I can get you an Airbnb that you can sublease with the permission from the landlord, and you can put it on your Airbnb and you can rent it out. You pay your rent monthly, but you put it on Airbnb. Then I don't manage it for you, and I don't get someone to manage it for you. You manage it yourself through self check-in and self check-out. But what I do is I connect you with a cleaning lady. This cleaning lady will go and she will clean up everything after your client leaves. And that is something very special because you only pay her $20 to go and clean the whole place. She'll take a video of it after she cleaned it, and she will show you what's going on. She'll even take a video of it if it looks atrocious, because some of them, they never look atrocious. A lot of you guys that are coming here, you really know how to keep your Airbnb clean. So if it does look atrocious and she's worried about the condition because maybe some things are broken, she will take a video for you to show you what it looks like, because you may have to contact Airbnb to make a complaint. So she'll take photos and videos to help you with that. And she will clean it for you, and then she's out of there. So you only pay $20. If you pay someone to manage your place for you, then that means you're paying them 10%, usually, sometimes 20% of your earnings. Now, if you have a place that is not a villa with a private pool and it's not a huge income earner, like in a gated community, and you have it in a local area, then you're not going to want to give somebody a part of your earnings. You're going to want to keep that money for yourself. Another thing about getting an Airbnb in a local area that's not in a gated community, they are safe, especially when you come to me. I will show you around. I will show you, and if you can't come here, I will show you the area and I will show you everything that you ask me in regards to where are the grocery stores, where are the barber shops, where's the salons, and everything of that nature. I will show you the inside of the place, obviously, let you know what you get. All the places are furnished, and and cable and also Wi Fi are included in the rent price itself. You just have to pay electricity separately. So you see, those places are really convenient. All you should do is really set it up a little bit more if you want it to look spectacular on Airbnb. Sometimes people get a place that is not really all that, and it may not be all that attractive, and they still put it up on Airbnb because they want to make the minimal income until the place is paying for itself, and then they take the profits that they get from the place and then they fix it up. There is no wrong way to do it, but if you want to make money a lot faster, then you should definitely make sure that you fix up the place a lot faster. People love eye candy. When they go on Airbnb, they want to see that your photos look amazing. Can you make money? Yes, you can. Again, it depends on where your place is located and what it looks like. I will suggest that you keep in mind the months. We have high season here and we have low season here. High season is from late October until around the beginning of May. And that is when a lot of people are coming here. High season. It's like high amount of traffic that are coming here. So you can expect to have your place rented out quite often during those months. But if you start your Airbnb in October, November, then you have to give yourself some time to get into the algorithms of Airbnb. You also have to give yourself some time for people to be able to give you good reviews. You also have to be patient with anything that goes on, because when you're new to something, then obviously you have to get used to it. So yes, you can definitely make money in the Dominican Republic, but your highest income months are going to be in high season, all the way from end of October all the way to May. So after May, you may be wondering, well, what happens after May? Is there like absolutely no traffic? You're not going to make money? Some people, they won't, because that's when the prices start to go down, even for flights. And some people won't make money for various reasons. Their prices are too high, or maybe their place is not very much in the tourist area. Like, people like to have a place by the beach. People don't always need pools, but they like to have everything by the beach. The beach in Sosua and also Cabarete is very central to socializing and also getting to know people. So if your Airbnb is not located centrally and it's in the countryside, chances are you will not make money during the low season. Another thing, if your place is not pretty, so you want to make sure that you show that you have a nice blanket on the bed, some puffy pillows on the bed, nice dishes. You want to make sure you have all the added little features. You will get this stuff when you get yourself an Airbnb from me that you want to put on Airbnb as a passive income. However, you may want to add your little touches. If you're working on a budget and you don't have a lot of money to invest in your Airbnb and you can only pay the rent, don't sweat the small stuff. Just try to make it look as cute as possible. Because no matter what, if the price is right, people are going to come. One more thing about making money in the Dominican Republic on Airbnb: football season. The NFL playoffs are a big hit here. So expect to get your place rented out. Well, another thing, during low season, how you can make money is if you rent it out to somebody for a few months. You just say to them, look, if you take the place for a month or 2 months or what have you, they can pay the amount that you pay monthly. So again, let's say your Airbnb that you're subleasing is $450 a month. You can rent it out to somebody at that price instead of trying to make some type of a benefit from it or some type of an income from it. And they pay their own electricity. So you still keep your Airbnb, but then you tell them when October comes, then they need to leave or they will have to pay Airbnb prices. These are not all the most important things, but these are just a few things that are on my mind right now. 5, the language. Don't be afraid if you don't speak Spanish. It's really important for you to know that you don't need to speak Spanish in the Dominican Republic. A lot of Dominicans speak English. Sometimes they don't speak English, and you can just whip out your phone and go to Google Translate, and you can definitely just look on there what you want to say. And if you don't have the internet at that time, most Dominicans do have the internet on their phone, especially if you have a moto concho, especially if you're in a restaurant. Now, if you happen to find someone that doesn't have the internet and you need information, then you can usually go, especially in Cabarete, Sosua, and Puerto Plata, to a local restaurant that caters to a lot of people, and you can ask them for their internet, for their Wi-Fi. And they will put the Wi-Fi code on your phone, and then you can just use translator or whatever you want to do. Like, let's say you want to work or whatever from that location, you can do that as well. So remember, coming to the Dominican Republic, there's so many different customs, there's so many different traditions, and there's so many different things that you are going to learn. This book right here that I have written, it's called Sosua Staycation, but it's not just for people coming on a staycation. It's also for those who want to come here and be on vacation. You can purchase it right now. Just leave a comment down below, and the first 3 people who comment, they have to comment the word, I want the book, will get the book for free. The first 3 people only. Okay. And with that, I will give you the book, but you have to email me at cerisefairfax@gmail.com. cerisefairfax@gmail.com. The same spelling as my YouTube channel right here. And then once you email me, I will send you the book. It is an ebook. Now, I would love for you to share it. I would love for you to quote it, share it wherever. And if you use it as a hashtag, let me know, because I would love to give you more information and a free consultation when you get here. All right, guys, thank you so much. If you enjoyed this video and you really like my content, go ahead and subscribe. My algorithms tell me that only 60% of the people who watch my videos subscribe. So if you're that 40% that has been thinking about subscribing, please go ahead and subscribe and let me know below. Tell me your name and where you are subscribing from. But another thing, if you've already been subscribed for a long time, I thank you so much. I appreciate you. You have helped my channel grow, and you make me feel like my content that I share is awesome. I love you guys. Huge hugs, loads of love, big blessings. Take care, everyone. Have yourself an amazing day. Treat yourself good and be good to yourself, because you deserve it.